Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Nerissa and I am a mom to 3 children. I come here to share some autism information, some lived experiences, because one of my children is on the autism diagnosis. He was diagnosed about 10 years ago, and I have developed this passion of also sharing my experiences, because I know information is power. And I also come just to be vulnerable and also get to learn from you guys. I want to thank you for the support. I thank you for the suggestions. I thank you for all that you are doing. The support, we really appreciate that. Today's video, I want to continue from what we did yesterday. Yesterday, we spoke about the reasons why we have less girls that are being diagnosed with autism. And in today's video, I want to talk about why we have more boys being diagnosed. Here are the 10 reasons why it might be easier to diagnose boys than girls. So this is what makes it easier to diagnose boys more than girls when it comes to autism. And again, I want to start with defining what autism is. Autism is a neurodevelopmental condition. It is the way the brain is wired. And it is this specific way of the wiring of brain that affects 3 aspects of this individual. And these 3 aspects are social interaction, emotional regulation, and behavioral output. So autism, in a nutshell, it affects the way the individual processes information that they receive, information that is surrounding them. That means autism affects the way they regulate the individual regulate their emotions according to their surroundings. It also affects the way they socialize with the environment and those around. It also affects then the way they will behave after regulating their emotions, after the social interaction. It affects the way the individual will behave. So because of that, there is already biological differences between girls and boys. And because of those biological differences, again, boys are not wired the same way the girls are wired, their brain, right? So autism is going to present itself differently, because in general, there is certain traits that we see that are masculine, and we also have certain traits that we see that are feminine. And let's talk about the behavioral presentation. Boys are more likely to exhibit externalizing behaviors like aggression or hyperactivity, making autism more noticeable. Because boys in general, they exhibit those things, they externalize them. They are not shy about being aggressive. And we think it's because it's a masculine thing to be aggressive, to show how they can roar and how they can dominate their space, making those autism traits that are associated with aggression more visible. Number 2, the social expectations. Boys are often encouraged to be more assertive, leading, and that then displays more social struggles. We encourage them to be forthcoming. We encourage them to do it. We push them to do things. And because of that already, when we buy toys, we ask them, and we buy these toys that they have to be in control of. We buy the cars, buy them toys that they have to manipulate. They have to be in charge of. And some of them are even noisier. Some of them, if it's games, some of them shows them being the victor. So already by doing that, we are teaching them that in life, we are expecting them to determine the mood in the room. We are expecting them to come out victorious. We are expecting them to fight, to win, to succeed, to achieve. We are already putting that expectation on their shoulders. Diagnostic criteria bias as the reason number 3 why it's easier to diagnose boys of autism than it is with girls. Reason number 3, the diagnostic criteria bias. Autism diagnostic tools were developed based on male-dominated research, potentially missing female-specific traits. So it's actually easier because whatever case study whatever research that was done to diagnose boys, to diagnose autism, it was done based on boy-child. So it's easier then to use that research findings on boys because it was actually done using male-dominated diagnostic tools. Number 4, masking and camouflaging. Girls are more likely to hide their autistic traits, making diagnosis harder. Boys are more likely, they rarely mask. They are vocal, they say what they want to say most of the times. And because of that, they are less masking and less camouflaging from a very tender age. Number 5, communication styles. Girls often develop more and stronger verbal skills, which then can mask communication challenges. I've realized that you can find that girls will even speak quicker, will develop speech quicker compared to boys. And because they are verbal, a lot of parents end up missing the autism aspect. Most of the time, parents, if a child has developed their speech, parents will not worry about looking for other developmental issues or challenges because as long as a child is communicating, they think there's no need to worry. Then they miss the actual communication challenges that can be in the child. And because boys struggle in general with developing communication, it's easier to then pick and start suspecting autism. Number 6, play preferences. Boys tend to engage in more structured play, making social struggles more visible. Girls, they don't play in structured play. They can play with their dolls. They can play with manipulating the door if it's in the raw areas, the clay, playing in the kitchen, in the imaginary cooking and all. It's not structured. So it's easy to play around and miss it. But with boys, we expect them to put blocks one after the other. We expect them to play with toy cars. And toy cars, we can see if they are not playing with them correctly. We give them toys that have got a certain way to be played with or to be manipulated. And if they don't do it correctly, we can easily pick it up that there is a challenge. But with girls, they can manipulate their toys anyhow. They can manipulate the girl toys anyhow. So it becomes difficult to pick up that there might be some developmental challenges with regards to playing with toys. Then the challenge number 7, or the reason number 7 why boys will be easier to diagnose than girls. Boys are often encouraged to express their emotions differently, making emotional regulation challenges more noticeable. So boys are always encouraged to be vocal about their emotions, to say what they want. And that can make life easier for them to easily burst into anger when they're upset. Yet girls can go and hide when they're upset, or they can just cry without saying much. Reason number 8, co-occurring conditions. Boys are more likely to have more co-occurring conditions like ADHD, which can lead to earlier diagnosis. So we have more co-occurring conditions in boys than in girls. So that makes it much more evident and easier for professionals to diagnose boys. Number 9, the referral bias. Professionals might be more likely to refer boys for autism evaluations due to perceived higher risk. So in general, the referrals are made more in bigger numbers, in bigger percentages than it is for girls. So we end up having a lot in that side of the diagnosis more. Number 10, research and training. Historically, autism research and training have focused more on boys, potentially leading to less awareness about autism presentations. That is the reason why it might be easier to diagnose autism in boys more than in girls. These are some of the reasons I wanted to share. So I want to hear from you what you think. What do you think are the other reasons? Or are these reasons still valid? And what do you think we should do to make sure that we strike a balance in making referrals that are equally for both the boy child and the girl child? How best can we continue supporting the girl child so that they are in a space where they don't mask their autistic traits? What else do you think we should do? And what else should we stop doing so that we encourage equality in this regard? I would love to hear from you, and thank you very much for watching. Thank you so much for the support. I really, really appreciate. See you in the next video.